What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilkin. As you guys know, earlier today, the third level of Familia Rush did drop. Now, this is a single target. This time it is not dark. It is actually wind types that you need. So, Ray and the magic wind Haruhime are really the two best units for this event. Now, Ray is really in more of a support role here. So what I want to do is I really want to test Haruhime. So I was pretty critical of Haruhime when she dropped, because frankly, there's just not a lot of opportunities to use a lot of single target magic units. I would say the exception to that would obviously be Record Buster, but even then, most Record Busters either favor physical or physical can catch up really quickly. Most of the physical units are pretty substantial. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and use my general buff stack and go ahead and build my units up. Now, one thing I do want to mention about Ray, hopefully you guys pulled her. If you didn't, that's fine, but she does a 33% SAH charge, and on this team, we're going to keep her on the team just so that we can keep doing that and build our SA a little bit faster. Now, once again, this is not going to be a run for overall score, but this is just literally going to be a run to see how much damage we can get out of this Haruhime unit. Gabblesay doesn't have a very good spot here. He's really here just more to support Eyes and let Eyes do a little bit more damage. But all in, it's just the best unit that I could muster. Now, I could debuff single target a little bit, but we're going to do enough of that. We could debuff guard rate a little bit. We're going to do enough of that. Really, I guess I could have done guard rate. It might have been slightly more effective. But one thing I do want to mention about Ray is not only does she have the 33% SAH charge, she also has the Strength and Magic 40% debuff that we would normally use Haruhime for. So Ray is actually a really substantial unit, at least as a sack unit or as a support. So hopefully you guys pulled her. Let's go ahead and continue. General buff stack stuff. Now, the whole goal here is to get a quad SA. And while normally in most circumstances, especially with this one, normally by the time you get a quad SA, usually you've kind of killed the unit. And this is not going to be much of an exception to that. We are going to be doing a decent amount of damage, and frankly, I'll do that. We'll do that, and we'll do that. There is going to come most likely a point in time where we're just simply going to have to start doing base level attacks so we don't kill him. Because, well, as you can see, we're already chipping away at that health. Now, at this point, everything's pretty much buffed. The only thing is I'd really have to watch here are the extra turns that Eyes gets. No one else really gets them. It's just Eyes. So if I really wanted to... Oh, no, I take that back. Ray does too. If I really wanted to be a stickler for damage, I would keep doing that. But I feel like with what we're trying to do here, we're going to be hurting so bad anyway to not kill this unit that I think it's... Basically, at this point, from this point until we get our quad SA, I'm going to go ahead and resign myself to just doing base attacks. Now, we do obviously want to keep the buffs and debuffs in play, and everything looks like it's going to be good here. There we go. All right. And I do have a crazy SA gauge charge. Now, the one thing I will do with Ray, I should have done this on turn 3. I'm going to go ahead and do the 33% SA gauge charge again. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that is going to give that to Haruhime. And so we'll get our charge just a little tiny bit faster. Now, obviously, I do have all of the assists on here that do SA gauge charge. So, we are cheesing this a little bit. But at the same rate, the end goal here is just to get a quad SA and see what we can produce. All right. So let's keep this going. And I'll explain why I have this build the way I do here in just a minute when we get to the SA. Because it looks a bit funky, but follow me here. And in an actual practical stance, you probably wouldn't do what I'm going to be doing. Only because it's not very functional from a damage perspective. Remember that while the numbers I'm going to get here are probably going to be pretty decent looking, in actual battle, these numbers don't mean a whole lot. but it is a good test of how strong a unit is overall and how, I guess, tactile they are in a fight. Now, this is really nice, actually. A quad essay on turn 10 is a really good scenario. We could have had it at turn 9, but I didn't do my stacks quite right. But here we go. All right. Turn 10, quad essay. Now, he's got half health, so I'm a little concerned we might kill him before we get to Haruhime, but let's see. All right, so we're going to do 100% strength and magic with Haruhime, and that is, of course, going to give us that 100% magic buff to eyes that we're looking for. Then I'm going to do raise essay. That is going to give us magic 90% and wind attack damage 100%. In theory, you should only have to do this realistically, because Haruhime's essay is slightly redundant. It's only going to give us 10% more, but for the sake of getting damage out, and the fact that I'm lacking a little bit of damage on the front side, being that my wind debuffer my wind debuffer assist isn't terribly effective at the moment. I don't have her MLB'd, and if obviously my levels are down. My levels for wind are only 30. I actually need to increase those to 35, and I'll do that after this run. But in order to get the run out tonight, I don't think I have time to do that. So it is a 10% increase. It's not really worthwhile in an actual fight, so do bear that in mind. Some of this, but the whole goal here is just to get the numbers, okay? So we're going to do wind resistance minus 50%, attack single target plus 25%. That's going to be very good. That's going to give us a huge number. And then, of course, hers, which is wind magic attack 40% per each strength, magic, and wind attack damage buff skill, and foe removes strength and magic buffs. We're not worried about that last part, but this is basically going to be the biggest hit we can produce. So, and I'm a little worried because I think this might be too big. I think eyes might finish this off. I hope not, but we'll see. We shall see. And realistically, actually, the more I think about it, I could have probably put Rei in front of Haruhime because I don't really need to buff Rei. So there's a way I could have built this team a little more efficiently to give me the numbers without really having to worry about putting a hurt on this unit. But once again, I didn't want to over-engineer the team too much, just because I do want to be able to go back and do a team that's going to produce numbers for me. All right. So let's take a look. So she's physical. Physical is debuffed a decent amount, but she actually doesn't have a huge physical buff to herself. So let's just compare what she does, because we already know that this eyes is strong. 1.8, okay? 1.8 with no crit and not really in the best condition. Like, obviously, we could do a lot better with her, and I would expect more out of her. What you got, Haruhime? Haruhime is in the perfect position. Bruh! No way! Okay. Well, I was expecting more along the lines of like 4 or 5 million. Not 7. Even I'm... okay, so this is genuine. Like, me, surprise, not expecting that. Whoa. I may have slightly underestimated this unit. Now, to be fair, I want to go in here and I want to talk about why that is somewhat of an unfair scenario, okay? So first of all, there is some damage left on the table. Obviously, wind attribute is at 30%. I really need to up that to 35. And the Chicky Hestia is down about 5%. She does water and wind resist down 10%. If I had given her max limit break, which I haven't pulled enough of her yet to do it, but if she was max limit broken, we'd have another 5%. So while that is an insane number that I wasn't expecting, there's more damage left on the table. Also bear in mind, let's just go back in here. So what we've done here is magic resistance is already down 60%. Wind resistance is down 30%. I thought it was supposed to be down 40%. That was the notes we had earlier. But it's down 30%. Okay. Now, Finn's going to debuff wind 40%, but that's not really relevant because then Eyes comes in, and then Eyes is going to debuff wind 50%, debuff single target 50%, and then she's going to come in and do her crazy attack. So the whole thing is really wild. Like, magic is down, I believe. Our sis drops magic 20%. I believe magic is already down. Let's see, 35%. So there's a lot of damage in there. I'm going to have to go back in here and do a couple runs and really, really mess around with this team. Unfortunately, the team config isn't really ideal for what I want to do, but I honestly was not expecting that kind of damage, so fairly impressed myself. But that is going to be the video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments section down below. I'm utterly shocked. I'm going to be real. I don't think I've ever seen damage that big in this game. But also bear in mind, this is Familia Rush. The units are boosted pretty well. And we had a pretty stacked team with a lot going on. Realistically, in-game, you're probably going to see, 3 or 4 mil in the best possible scenario. Realistically in there. Because it was also quad SA. And I think best bet you're going to do maybe a triple in the right circumstance, in the perfect circumstance. So things to consider there. But for now, that's going to be the video. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments section. I'm not going to show you my actual, because I'm actually going to re-amend my runs now. The only reason I'm not going to do that because there is a certain, I guess, competition to this, for lack of a better way to put it. And I don't think my family would very much appreciate me, showcasing all that. But hopefully we've got Haruhime. She's an absolute monster. I did kind of underestimate her, but also bear in mind, if you did max limit breaker like I did, you are going to be hurting for options to use her after this. It's probably going to be a while before we get one. Maybe Wrecker Buster, but after that it might be a couple of months before she really goes into prominence again. But who knows? Maybe we'll retest her in a Wrecker Buster where she's not really at her best and see and compare the numbers, because I don't know. I didn't expect 7 mil. Let me know what you guys thought. Catch you on the next one.